Hi everyone, I'm Tom. Normally I make board game playthroughs and things. Look through the channel, there's hundreds of them. But today I'm going through my most anticipated games of 2019. I've made a list on Board Game Geek that I will link in the description of all of the games that I'm excited about that are hopefully coming up this year. There's about 80 odd, so yeah, this is the tip of the top cream of the crop of that. I will say that last year I wasn't able to keep up with the list as much as I would have liked over the course of the year, so this list relies heavily on Rado's and the ones that I'm excited for from his list, and a lot from previous years that didn't quite come out yet. I'll link his list in the description. But on with the top 10, and perhaps because I don't know as much about the games because they're upcoming, it's going to be a snappier list. It's not going to be like an hour long, hopefully. Number 10 is Role Player Adventures. So I have played through Role Player on the channel. I don't think we've done a video for the expansion yet, but the expansion is brilliant as well. There's another expansion on the way for it. This is a standalone game where you can either make your own characters or you can use characters that you made in Role Player. Role Player, by the way, is a dice drafting game where the theme is rolling a character for Dungeons and Dragons. Rolling your statistics and things like that. You're trying to hit the right numbers and get the right alignment and stuff like that. It's a really, really cool game. This is a game where we can use characters that we ended role player with. It started coming with a pad so you can note down all of the stats of your character. You can take those characters into adventures and play out a storybook, adventure game with those characters. So really, really excited about not just this kind of adventure game set in the role-player universe, but the link to the original game as well could be a really cool thing. Number 9 is Foothills from designers Tony Boydel and Ben Bateson, and this is a two-player only version of Snowdonia. So I've done a video for Snowdonia already, a playthrough and impressions and stuff, so I won't go on too much about it, but it's a game of clearing dirt and building track and building stations to make a railway up Snowdonia, or a worker placement game. Absolutely fantastic one as well. In its base game form and with the tons and tons of expansions for it. Really, really fantastic game. And this is, I as a person who mainly plays just two-player specific versions of games are always on my radar. I had a quick look at this at the UK Games Expo last year when it was in kind of rough prototype form. I didn't get a chance to play it myself, but the thing that I remember the most is that you have action boards that have actions similar to the board in Snowdonia, but everyone has an individual one. And when you take the action, you've got cards above each one, and you slide the card down to cover the action up. So to be able to uncover the action, you need to take the action on the card instead, and hopefully it'll have a complementary action, but maybe you're going to have to spend some time going around the houses to be able to uncover your desired action. And over the course of the game, you will be able to buy or upgrade those cards to customize the way that you're playing, be able to do one action and clear multiple cards in one go, for example. But yeah, really excited about this. Number 8 is Seize the Bean from Quality Beast. Little caveat first up, I have been honoured to have been drawn as a card in this game. I'm going to be a promo card or in a certain customer pack for it, but hey, you can go back and look at the video that I made for Kickstarter long before it was even sprung on me that was going to happen, and hear me rave about it. This is a kind of deck building game where the deck is a queue of customers that we are trying to serve in our various coffee shops, and we can buy upgrades to enhance our actions. We need to buy ingredients to satisfy the various needs of the customers that are going to come in, and serving certain customers is going to earn you bonuses. It's going to earn you, hopefully, good reviews. There are little chits with little funny reviews written out on them that are little bonuses that you can get. It looks like it's not only a fun, solid game to play when we had the prototype, but it seems like they've gone all out on the production values of it and the number of different customer packs and everything that are in it. Really excited to see the final version of Seize the Bean, but you can see my playthrough of it in prototype form. Number 7 is Chocolate Factory. This is from Alley Cat Games. Dice Hospital last year was their great big release, and amongst others, of course. And it's designed by Brett Gilbert and Matthew Dunstan, who, among other games like they did Pyramids and Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time, their big hit for me, their big shining star is Elysium, which was a fantastic card game from 3 years ago now. Yeah, let's not try and work out dates and things, but yeah, absolutely fantastic game. So publisher pedigree, designer pedigree, and the theme is a chocolate factory. That's pretty much all you need to know. I I played a rough prototype version of this at the UK Games Expo last year, and you do have a chocolate factory. Your chocolate comes in on a kind of conveyor belt system, not a literal conveyor belt. Apparently, that's too expensive to get made. But your trays will slide along with different chocolates on them, and you will buy different parts for your factory that will manipulate these chocolates, that will upgrade them into different ones. Having said that, that is just the game that I played. It could be completely different by now, but I imagine that I'm giving you some kind of idea of what it's about. This is coming on Kickstarter next month, actually, and I am going to be doing a preview video of it, so look forward to it then. I haven't played it yet, though, so I can't tell you what it's like. Hopefully good. Number 6, at the risk of sounding like a Snowdonia sycophant, is Alubari, A Nice Cup of Tea, from designer Tony Boydel of Snowdonia. And this is a kind of sequel, not really, successor, re-implementation of Snowdonia, where things are ramped up, accelerated a bit, where you are not only clearing dirt and building tracks and things like that, you are building these tea plantations, and you are getting chai which you can give to your workers to, in addition to the main worker placement actions that you might be familiar with if you've seen Snowdonia. You can give them chai to power up these actions and make them more powerful. It was supposed to come out last year, I believe, and there's a little bit of a delay, but absolutely all systems a go for this year. So really, really excited to see the final version. We played, again, a demo version of it in 2017, I believe, at the UK Games Expo. We played a full game of it. Really excited. Could have changed a lot since then, but what we played was really great. Number 5 is High Rise. This is a skyscraper building game from Gil Hova, who is the designer of the Networks. And if you've heard me talk about that before, you know how much I love that game and rave endlessly about it. This is as I mentioned, we're building skyscrapers and things. There is a great big board. Around the outside of it are action spaces. It's a time track kind of a game where, you can take an action, you can move as far as you want, but the person in last place on the track gets to go next. So you can jump really far to get the action you want, but you might be giving other people multiple turns before you're going to get one again. You are trying to get different coloured parts to your skyscraper, different coloured floors, to be able to build based on the specifications that are out for the current round. Certain action spaces will give you permanent abilities, will let you build in certain sections of the board, and based on how high your skyscraper is, or if it's got different bonuses on it, it will be worth a certain amount of points. And as the game goes on, if as everything fills up, as in real life, if you want to build a skyscraper, it needs to be taller than the skyscraper that is already there, and then theirs will be removed and yours will be put in there. Yeah. As I said, I've only played a round of it, but really, really excited to play it. This is going to be on Kickstarter, in fact, very, very soon. I am doing a preview for it. My prototype was held up by Customs, pesky Customs, so it's going to be a little bit delayed, but can't wait to play a full game of it. Number 4 is Aeon's End Legacy. I've done videos for the original game and the standalone expansion War Eternal. They're already on the channel. It's a cooperative deck building game where perhaps the big twist is that you don't shuffle your deck. The order that you place things into your discard pile is very deliberate, because when your draw pile runs out, you just flip your discard pile back over, and barring any things the game might throw at you, you'll go back in it in the order that you put them in. And you are collectively trying to fight a nemesis that is threatening to destroy the local town, and they will all have their own special rules, maybe their special minions and things that they are throwing out there. It's a really, really fantastic co-op game, and I love it to bits. I really, really love legacy games as well. Tend to be the cooperative side that we have gotten along more with, but yeah, I love the idea of not only telling a story that is building up over the course of multiple sessions, that hopefully taking into account some choices that we have made, but also that you are making permanent decisions. The stickers that you're adding to cards, tearing things up, writing on boards and things. Yeah, the permanence of your decisions in a legacy game really adds to the weight of them, and how immersed that we feel in them, for us anyway. But yeah, so the marriage of these two things is really exciting, and you are trainee breach mages in this, and over the course of the legacy campaign you will end up with a character that you can then take into normal Aeon's End or War Eternal and mix it all up and have your own customized character to play in the normal game as well. So that's an even bigger plus that it can be integrated in that way too. So Aeon's End Legacy. Number 3 is Black Angel from Pearl Games, and this is the design trio behind Trois. It's Sébastien Dujardin, Alan Orben, and Xavier Jorge? Why do you try and pronounce things that you haven't looked up? Anyway, it's the trio behind Trois, and it uses a similar dice mechanism. In Trois, we were in a medieval city, and we each had a segment of the city with our dice in it, and you used your dice for actions, but you could buy dice from other players, giving them sometimes a ton of money, but depriving them the use of their dice. The dice represented people in the city that were under your influence, but they weren't your dice. So it's using something similar to that, but otherwise the game is completely different. It's in space, the setting, and the art is done by Ian O'Toole, who you may well be familiar with from things like Pipeline, from the deluxe Vita Lacerda games. Absolutely amazing graphic designer, and yeah, really can't wait to see what they've come up with Black Angel. Speaking of Ian O'Toole art and deluxe Vita Lacerda games, number 2 is On Mars, the next big game from this team that seems to just be one after the other, just knocking them out of the park. I did a playthrough of the prototype of Escape Plan last year. What have they done? Vinos Deluxe, The Gallerist, Lisboa, CO2 Second Chance, which I haven't got a copy of, but I hope to at some point soon. Anyway, this is colonizing Mars, a theme that I think it was the Essen before last seemed to be everywhere, but yeah, really excited to see Vita Lacerda's take on it. He makes complex Euros that's sometimes getting towards absolutely brain meltdown Euro games, but everything in them is really really tied to the theme that's involved, whether it's running an art gallery in the Gallerist, or it's trying to rebuild Lisboa after a real life disaster, as it's based on. Where'd that sentence go? Anyway, yeah, everything's really tied to the theme in a beautiful way, and yeah, they are complex, but they are all just beautiful. And as I mentioned in the last entry, Ian O'Toole just does amazing work on them all, so yeah, really expecting great things from On Mars. And number 1 is Glenmore 2 Chronicles from designer Matthias Kramer. Now, Glenmore, I haven't actually done a video for that. It's an absolutely fantastic game where we are building these little regions in Scotland. We're trying to mainly get a lot of whiskey, but get a lot of different goods and things. It's based on a really beautiful time track system where, as I mentioned, for High Rise, the person in last place goes next, and you are picking new tiles for your personal tableau, and you get to place them, expanding it out, and based on where you place it, it will activate the tiles that it's touching, whether it's producing more resources or selling them off. It's an absolutely fantastic game, a real favourite for us, and Glenmore 2 is not only giving it a deluxe, perhaps the production it always deserved. Alia have made some amazing games, but I think it's fair to say that often the production leaves a little bit to be desired. So it's getting bigger tiles and new artwork and all sorts of enhancements, but the gameplay itself, it's been tweaked and refined by Matthias since the original, and it's got variable scoring at the end of the game as well, and it's got the name of the game, Chronicles, comes from a load of 8, I think, different expansions that are included that tell little stories, but you choose 1 or 2 and add different elements to the game as well. Really excited for this. It's it's been rumored for quite a while, I think, and to see it actually kind of coming to fruition now, it's going to come to Kickstarter next month, I believe, early this year anyway, and really can't wait to see just to be able to play Glenmore again, but to play it with all of these enhancements and things. Really excited. But yeah, it's my number 1, so I'd better be excited, right? Anyway, that's the end of the list. I hope it's been a bit more brief than my normal things. I tend to go on, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back with my top 10 expansions as well, because I'm really excited about a lot of expansions that don't really get mentioned when I'm just talking about games and things. But yeah, playthroughs constantly. There are hundreds on this channel. like and subscribe. Tell me what you're excited about. It all helps, doesn't it? I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.